Hey guys, so I just wanted to give you a quick lesson on one-point perspective when you're drawing interior spaces. And so work through this with me and then you'll have a little assignment at the end that you can work on. So uh, one of the most basic things to think about is what we talked about in a previous class where all of the diagonal lines, which we call orthogonal lines, will go to a singular point on the horizon line. So in class we worked with boxes, and then what we're doing today is a little bit different because we're sort of trying to create an interior space. And so that line is our eye level where we are. So the first thing I want you to do is just draw a little rectangle on the space of your page. So I'm going to draw one up here. This might look a little crooked on your screen because of the tilt of the camera. So we first have a little rectangle. So what that is if you can imagine that you're standing at the end of a hallway and you're looking down a long hallway, that this is the very end of the hallway. We're just going to draw kind of a fictitious space, and then when we work on these in class, we'll build on that knowledge. So draw yourself a little rectangle. So what we want to do is build a space around this, and if you can envision it, where we're heading towards our a wall on each side, and then a ceiling and a floor. That's kind of our goal. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to establish what our vanishing point is. So the logic is that if you can imagine standing at the end of a hallway and you're standing dead in the center and you're looking down the hallway, that if you could shoot a laser beam out of your eyeball towards the end of the hall, a straight line out of your eyes, where would it hit the wall on the other side? So if I were standing in the center of the hallway looking down, my eye level would probably be about right there because I'm sort of taller and I'm in the center of the hallway. If I happened to be sitting down that day on the floor and I was in the center, my eye level would probably be maybe right there. Okay, if I was really tired that day and I was leaning on the wall drawing my picture, my eye level would be right there. That's where my vanishing point would be. So it's really dependent on where you are in that space. For the purposes of this demo drawing, I want you to keep it not too close to the edge so that you can kind of make the drawing have a top and a bottom and a left and a right. So I'm going to just put my dot right here. Okay. So the next step is that what we want to do are draw some orthogonal lines that are going to establish the floor and the ceiling of our drawing. So I'm not using a ruler, but feel free to use a ruler in yours. If I just draw a line from the vanishing point out of the corners of the end of my hallway here, like that. And then I'm going to get rid of, kind of missed the corner there, but just pretend. Okay. Now, if you can envision, I'm going to just draw a box around here to give it kind of an ending point. This for you will be just the edge of your paper. So if you're drawing on like your drawing pad, this is just the edge of your paper. Okay. So now hopefully you can start to envision, this is the end of the hall, here's the floor, here's the ceiling, here's the left, here's the right side of the wall. So now we can apply some of the logic we learned in the last class. So the deal is that if it is not a line, it has to go to the vanishing point. So we can add things into this space. So what I'd like you to do is I would like you to fill this space with lots of stuff. Put in a few windows, put in some doors, put in some lights, try to fill the space to kind of make it seem interesting. If you want to challenge yourself and try to figure out how to do stairs, that might be an exciting thing to try. Go ahead and try those things out. So I'm going to draw a bench first just to sort of show you, and then we'll go from there. So again, we're going to pretend like we're just inventing our space here. So let's say that this is the back of the bench. Here's the front of the bench. Okay, vertical lines, horizontal lines. And then now if we want to make this thing look like it's going back into space, the lines have a point. Again, my lines are a little bit crooked because I'm not using a ruler. Okay, so there's my vanishing point. I'm going to get rid of this line on the floor because that way you can see my bench a little bit clearer. So then to make the back end of the bench, I have a horizontal line, I have a vertical line, I have another horizontal line, and I have a vertical line. So now I'm going to get rid of these extra lines here. Like that. And you can see the start of my bench. Ooh, I got rid of the wrong line. Sorry. This one. Okay. So then if I was going to draw like the legs of the bench, here they are. If I wanted to make them have a sense of depth, I could draw to the vanishing point an edge there. That guy should go like that. Here's a horizontal line. Here's a vertical line. Again, if I go from the vanishing point to here, okay, let's say there's slats of wood on the bench, right? Those would all go to this vanishing point. Okay. I keep erasing my floor on accident. Okay, so there's my bench, right? So the same applies to this. If there are doors, the doors would all be on this line. So doors might be just vertical lines, so straight up and down. There are some doors. Okay. Let's say there's a little open window on the door, like the ones in Nielsen. Here's two vertical lines, and then here's my lines to the back. There's a window. This isn't perfect, but you have a ruler, so you'll do a better job. So you can start to see where that stuff lines up. Some logic, too, just to apply is that in a building like Nielsen, the one that we have our class in, you know, all the doors are the same height. All the door handles are at the same level. All the windows are at the same level. So once you have one orthogonal line in there, all the doors will go to that same orthogonal. So, let's see, we could keep drawing doors, you know, down the hallway based on that diagonal line that we put in there because they're all the same height. This gradual increase here, we call that a gradient. When we have the same thing repeated over and over and over again in perspective, we usually call that a gradient. So you can see there's some doors. You could put in floor tiles. And there'd be lines coming across, horizontal lines. Like that. Get rid of those, right? You could put in fluorescent lights. Okay. You could put in a painting, some Venetian blinds. If you wanted to put in some stairs, let's imagine there's a mysterious doorway up here somewhere for whatever reason. If you imagine, getting confused with my lines, so I'm going to draw this in red. So vertical, horizontal, right? That's all that's happening there. You see how those stairs might shape up? If you can figure out how to make stairs go down, that's kind of fun too. I'll let you experiment with that. So same here. Horizontal, oops, I messed up. Vertical. Erase all that so you can see it. You can see those stairs starting to shape up there. So the only thing you have to remember is that it either has to be perfectly straight up and down or across, or it has to go to that vanishing point. So any other lines are not allowed in this space, and that's how you'll get the space right. So your assignment is to create an interior space. Just do this in your drawing pad. and I just want you to create an interior kind of fictitious space. I would say I'd like you to try to put, I don't know, maybe put at least 2 objects, could be a chair, could be a bench, could be a table, a garbage can, in the space, maybe some stairs, and then put some things on all 4 sides. Windows, doors, some paintings, lights, something. So just try out some different things and try to fill that space, and you will turn that in when we return to class next week. Okay? So it should be pretty manageable. If you want to experiment with putting the vanishing point not dead in the center, feel free to do that. I would just say don't go too close to the left, the right, the top, or the bottom, but feel free to shove it around in that space so that it's not too, it's not in the center. If you put anything on this very back space, let's say there's a window back here, those lines have to be horizontal or vertical. In this background space, things will be just horizontal or vertical, and that's it. Okay? So go ahead and draw yourself a pretend space. We're going to apply this to actually drawing in the hall next time, and that's it. Email me if you have any issues. Okay, bye.